Hi, everyone. Welcome to this crash course of Primavera P6 Professional. In, uh, in this course, we are going to work on a project. It's a fictitious project. We adapted it from the example provided by Primavera Risk Analysis help file version 8.7. So the workshop is saying, or the case study is saying that there are homeowners that want to landscape their garden. They hired an architect to design the layout in November 2024. The layout is complete and they have approved it. Now they want to start the construction work, which includes erecting a fence, installing a pond, and laying a path. They issued a request for tender, and after evaluating the submitted bids, they sent a letter of acceptance to contractor X to sign the contract. It was stated in the signed contract that the contractor shall submit a preliminary schedule within 2 weeks. The schedule shall be prepared using Primavera P6 Professional and shall be resource loaded. The contractor assigned this task to a management consultant office. You are the new intern at this office, and your supervisor asked you to. These are the steps that you are going to do to complete this project. So we are going to go through them one by one and see how these steps can be implemented on Primavera P6 Professional. Before starting to work on the steps that we need to do to complete this project in Primavera P6, I'd like to take a step back from the project level to see the full picture and understand what do we mean by the first two steps here in this workshop. So we have enterprise project structure and organizational breakdown structure. These are two concepts that when we teach project management, maybe we overlook speaking about them. So let's take a step back now and try to understand what are these two concepts. Enterprise project structure, and I'm going to show it to you using an example, a real world example. So this is a presentation provided by WSP. And if I want to look for the EPSs or enterprise project structures in WSP, I'm going to look for the revenue streams of this company. What are the segments of this company? So when you look here, go all the way down. For example, you are going to find what are the sectors that this company works on. So they have transportation infrastructure, that's one sector. They have earth and environment, they have property and buildings, they have power energy. These are the segments or revenue streams for this company. And we can also find the geographic segmentation of the project or of the projects of this company. So 18% in Canada, 37% in Americas, 16% in Asia Pacific, and 29% in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. This is the distribution of their projects per continent, for example. Let's put it this way, or like continents or countries, as you see, like 18% Canada, and these are continents. And this is the distribution of their projects based on what sector they work on, or what is the scope of their work. So, as we said, transportation, earth, property, and power energy. So, how this is reflected in the two concepts that we talked about? We said EPS, and it is what you see in front of you now. That's the EPS, and I'm going to show you how this will work. And there's something else called OBS, and also I'm going to show you how this can be done in P6, which is who is responsible for each of these sectors. Who is responsible for projects in the Middle East? Who is responsible for projects in Canada? Who is responsible for transportation project, who is responsible for residential projects in property and buildings. So, asking about their responsibility, you need to look for the people. So, when you go down, here we go. Here you can see the titles. So, for example, Eric, he is the global director, transport and infrastructure. So, we are going here to find out there is transportation and infrastructure. So that means Eric will be the responsible person here, and then after each under each subsector here, they are going to be someone else also involved. Also, look here, that's earth and environment. So are going to assign to earth and environment, and so on and so forth. So that's the EPS. This is the hierarchy of the company. So we have WSP, they have transportation sector, they have earth and environment, property and buildings, power energy. That's the EPS. And then we are going to assign the OBS, the person or the responsible person for each of these sectors. So how this can be done in Primavera P6? So this is the software, Primavera P6 Professional. And when you click in and then log into your account, here we go. These are sample projects. I think this is not the sample project. Yeah, these are the sample projects that when you download or install the P6 on your machine, they ask you whether you want to have the sample projects or not. And having the sample project is it's a good thing to have, so you have an idea of how projects look like. So, for example, you can look over here. That's the project, how the project activities are located, and then, for example, you need to change the time scale. We are going to go through all of that during this workshop. So anyhow, let's get back to where were we. So these pyramids, they are called the enterprise project structures. So that's the enterprise, and this is the highest level, and then that's the energy and construction, yeah, engineering and construction sector for this enterprise, energy services for this enterprise. So this is the hierarchy that we were talking about. And if you want to look up about the hierarchy, if you click here on the chart view, you're going to see the hierarchy of this enterprise. So I'm gonna just show you an example of how this can be done, or how can we create the EPSs and OBSs from the WBS example, a WSP example. So we said we have, for example, transportation and infrastructure under WSP. So to create the EPS, what you're going to do is to click on enterprise, then enterprise project structure. And before delving into the steps to do so, I just want to distinguish between two main things in Primavera P6. If you are going to work on something related to the company, we are going to be working on enterprise. And if you are going to work on something related to the project, we are going to use this menu. So just remember that when you work, while you're working on Primavera P6. So that's enterprise, and then I'm gonna click on enterprise project structure. I'm gonna click on add. That's the new EPS. So we are going to call the new EPS WSP. That's the ID, the EPS ID, and that's the name. And then I don't want this WSP EPS to be the child of the enterprise. I want it to be separate, as you see here. So close. That's the new EPS we have created. And then I want to add another EPS. So I'm gonna click on enterprise, and then enterprise project structure. I will click on add, and then we were saying that transportation and infrastructure. So The ID, let's call it transportation and infrastructure. That's the short version. And then the EPS name, let's put the full name, transportation and infrastructure. If you want to add another EPS, you can add it here. If you want to add, for example, another EPS to be the child of transportation, we'll see how to do so. So, for example, let's look over here, rail and transit. So I'm gonna call this rail. Let's make it this, put it this way, rail and transit, make it RNT, and then write it down here, rail and transit. And then if you look over here, you are going to find out that, look here, we have WSP. This WSP has the transportation and infrastructure sector or segment or revenue stream, whatever you want to call it. And then we have R and T. But the thing is, we want this rail and transit to be under, to be a child of this sector. We don't want them to be on the same level. So to fix that, go back here and then use these arrows to control that. So I'm going to do this, that moved it to be the child of transport and infrastructure. Close, and of course you can see it here. Here we go. And when you look at the hierarchy, or it's called network, I believe here, chart view. Yeah. So here we go. So now how can we assign or create organizational breakdown structure or the responsible person for that? So again, we are going to work on something related to the enterprise. So we are going to work, we're going to use the enterprise menu. So here, OBS, that's it. And then these are these were installed during the installation process. These are the sample data. So if you want to add another OBS, just click on add. You need to display all. Okay, these are all of them. And then let me remove this. Okay, so that's a new OBS. Let's pick one of the names that we have here, like transport. And so Eric, let's pick this name, and then that's it. So we have it here, and then when we create the OBS, you need to be under this enterprise, but this won't doesn't matter for us for now. So that's the OBS, that's the responsible person. So now we have created the EPS and we have created the OBS. And the next step will be assigning the EPS to the OBS, or assigning the OBS to the EPS. So how are we going to do that? Let's get back to enterprise project structure. And then in the transport and infrastructure, we are going to click in the responsible manager. Who is the responsible manager for that? Go here, it's Eric, and then you can double click or click assign or select from here. So would you like to assign as the responsible manager for the WBS elements, issues, and threshold within the transportation and infrastructure? So it's gonna be assigned to all the child entities from that. So click yes. So you see that it's also this one was changed as well. So this was what I wanted to talk about for EPS, what EPS is, and how to look at the full picture that EPS is related to, what are the sectors that the company works in. So after that, after having the EPSs, we are going to start having our projects. So for example, in this sector, rail and transit, how many projects we have? And let me show you. These are the projects, for example, from the sample data for energy services. These are the projects. These folders that looks like a folder, these are the projects. So we're going to do the same here. For rail and transit, what are the projects that the company is working on? For healthcare, for residential, for commercial, for wind, and so on and so forth. Now let's see how can we work on our simple case study. So we are going to create the EPSs, we are going to create the project and schedule our project and add the resources to it.